YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today, guys, we are gonna talk about the prediction for the upcoming ban list. Now, usually around this week here or the next, we'll have updated ban list for the month of May. Hopefully, this list would be somewhat refreshing to see if ever some of the cards might be implemented in the coming month. But I'm just keeping my hopes up because majority of these cards right here are just recently added into the game, and some of them are like a month older. So I think Konami would not place them in the ban list just yet. But let's see. So without further ado, let's start off our unlimited list. Okay, for our first unlimited list, we have here the cards. So we have here Gamma, a copy of Engage, a copy of Fusion Destiny, and a copy of Italy. Now, Italy is practically for the psychic supports. I do believe that they are still needed a little bit more support. Punks and whatnot. Also, Gold Pride needed a little bit of a support. That'd be really good if ever that would be the case. This increase to 3 copies might gain access to more of the consistency for psychic monsters. Also, Virtual World might use this one to its full effect. Then we have Fusion Destiny. I do believe this on 3 copies might garner the DPE back into the game or back into the meta. Now, I'm not sure if people would like that, of course, because DPE is an OP card, just popping and returning back on the standby phase every turn. With the current meta nowadays, I think it's easy enough to remove DPE from the field without even destroying it. So this on 3 copies might be a consideration as well. But yeah, things to take note. And then we have a copy of Engage. I think it's about time for Sky Strikers to have all of its spell cards to 3 copies. I think except for a copy of Hornet Drone, because Hornet Drone is practically good in splashing into some of the decks. But yeah, Engage is quite a little bit okay though for the Sky Striker archetype, giving it more gas for the deck, of course, and bringing it more consistency for the game as well. And then we have a copy of Gamma. Now, typically, I really want to see this on 3 copies just because with the recent format, it brought me to a realization that hand traps are really insane, and this is one of the counters to some hand traps. People might consider in using their hand traps carefully in case of a Gamma, and then of course this might actually bring forth good synchro summons to the field, although it is an OP effect just to bring out a synchro 8, but that is one consideration against some crucial hand traps that your opponent might use on you. So that is Gamma for you guys, and that is the unlimited list. Let's go towards our semi-limited. Alright guys, so here we are with the semi-limited list, and we have here a couple of cards. Now I might think that you would react to this just by seeing these cards right here. So to start off, we have here Impulse. Now the reason why I put Impulse here on semi-limited is because Impulse is a really good hand trap in bringing forth most of your monsters from your deck. This, of course, it might lessen the consistency of Rescue Ace nowadays, especially that they are very powered with the Emergency and the Preventer. Really good as well if you added Impulse into the scene. Just bringing out more Rescue Ace monsters from the deck is just astronomically good. It's kind of like Emergency in a sense. Then we have a copy of Ariana. Now, people might react because they are Labyrinth lovers, but this on 2 copies might be okay though, lessening the consistency of the deck. Of course, this might just be a consideration, of course, for Konami to add into the game. It would be sad, of course, because I love Labyrinth as well, but this is one of the easiest summons to the field to gain access a copy of your Lady Labyrinth. So, or either a copy of Kukla. This on 2 copies might lessen the consistency of the Labyrinth deck, but that's just me. Then we have a copy of Reinhardt. The Tier Elements is still working on the meta nowadays, and they're practically good. As I played Tier Elements, there are some times that they are bricky, but you know, if this is one of the key starters for the deck as well, this on 2 copies might lessen the consistency of the deck, but this is just on consideration. This on 2 copies might actually kill off Tier Elements. Just let Tier Elements die. It's old format, I would say. Then we have Heart. Now, Vanadium has been good nowadays, especially with a copy of our Samsara, which is on 3 copies. Now, Heart is just an insanely good card, allowing it to be spell summoned to the field. Also, it will gain new access to 1 Vanadium card from your deck to your hand. I would have placed Meek here, but lessening the copy of Meek might actually like destroy some of the combos for Vanadium. I think the best part here is just lessening the consistency of the deck in general. That's why Heart is gonna be targeted, or for me, it's gonna be targeted for a semi-limited list. That's Heart for you guys. Let's go towards our next 2 cards, which are the Magnamut, and the Jerusalem. Before you go and react into the comments, hear me this. I think with the age of fire nowadays, or the year of fire for Macedo, I think these two monsters might be good on 2 copies each, or one of them might be on 2 copies. Jerusalem is another good card on 2 copies as well, but really powerful, even though you have the effect for a DD Crow, just banish 1 dark or light monster. But this might be really insane on 2 copies, so I'm not sure if this would be like accepted on 2 copies for Konami. But Magnamut, I really do think that this would be on consideration on 2 copies, just to bring out most of your desired cards as well. But yeah, that's Magnamut for you. And Jerusalem, the next card is what we'll have is Devastator the Black Witch and a copy of Wanted. Now Seeker and Black Witch are really powerful, allowing you to draw 1 card if you have a Sinful Spoils in the banish pile or in the graveyard, and then drawing 1 card. Furthermore, this will allow you to bring forth a copy of Black Witch, and Black Witch will gain you access to your original Sinful Spoils, which I'm not really like a fan of. Some people are just gonna run 1 copy of this in their deck, but this on 3 copies in most of the decks, just to be more consistent with bringing your level 1 fire monster, is just insane. So this on semi-limited would be somewhat of a nerf for some of the fire decks, but it would be like totally worth it, because I think majority of the fire decks nowadays are gonna capitalize on the Black Witch or a copy of Wanted. It might not be the month of May or the next, but in the near future, I do believe that these 2 cards here might be hit in the ban list on 2 copies or either on 1 copy. So semi-limited for Wanted and the Black Witch. The next one is, I was really ranting for this in the past few months. So Rollback is an insanely good card for trap decks as well, especially if you dump this card to the graveyard. You can just copy it an effect of a trap card that is in the graveyard. Although some people might or are still using 2 copies of this in the deck, and I think this is one of the most craziest cards that Konami actually plays for a trap card. But yeah, that's Rollback for you guys. Let's go towards our limited list for the game. Alright, so for our limited list, we have here only 5 cards, and to start off, we have here Poplar. So Poplar on 2 copies is still really insane. You can just search it out with a copy of your Bonfire. This is one of the most key cards needed for the Snake Eyes deck as well on 2 copies. I think this listen to 1 copy might be actually good. At least if you draw into a copy of this, people might think of another good combo to bring this out from the hand or from the deck. And once this card is going to be negated, I think it's up to the player who is actually using this to do whatever it takes to actually summon this to the field, just to gain access to some of your Snake Eyes spell cards. Regardless, this might be a really big nerf for the Snake Eyes, but I'm not sure if this is going to be like added in the next month or so. But in the near future, this on 1 copy might be significant enough to lessen the consistency of Snake Eyes in general. I had some previous choices on putting Ash on 2 copies, but I think this will be somewhat relevant enough. But yeah, 1 copy for Popular. And then we have a copy of Albion the Shrouded Dragon. This on 3 copies allows you to dump a copy of your branded card from your deck to the graveyard, which is really necessary for the branded deck. Some people are running 1 copy of this in their branded deck. Some people are running 3. This might be insignificant, of course, for a branded archetype, but this is one of the strongest cards in bringing forth your branded card from your deck to the graveyard. And this on 1 copy, I think that would be alright though. So that's Albion the Shrouded. Next card we have here, Bonfire. Now, Bonfire was recently released in Macedo. I'm not sure if this is going to be updated by the next month, but this is one of the craziest cards I ever seen, especially when it came out from the TCG and OCG. So I think in a couple of months we'll have this one in the list. It might not be May or June or July, whatever, but in the near future, this is a strong card. This is like reinforcement of the army for Pyro monsters. So this is just on consideration as well. So that's Bonfire. Super Poly is one of the best cards that I would like to use in every fusion deck, and by far it has got me a lot of wins, got me a lot of board breaking, and got me a lot of like frustration sometimes. But this card needs to be on 1 copy because this is an insanely good card with the current meta. Especially you have good targets in your extra deck, which is Mud Dragon and a copy of Garura. Put into consideration Super Poly, really good card, but this needs to be like settled down into 1 copy. Then we have a copy of Anti-Spell Fragrance. Now in the near future, we'll have the update for Fire Kings that uses spell cards as well. This on 1 copy would be okay. It won't impact the meta just yet, but I think in the near future this might be really relevant. So that's why I would like to target this on 1 copy, or better yet, just remove all of the floodgates for Master Duel. I think that would be somewhat refreshing. Stand deck players are still gonna look into some of the cards that will allow them to floodgate an opponent. But like I said, hopefully this will be targeted for the ban list as 1 copy or none at all. Basically, all the floodgates are really annoying, but yeah, that's basically anti-spell fragrance. Let's go towards our forbidden list. Alright, so for our forbidden list, we have only 2 cards, and that is really significant, of course. We have the copy of Link Kuriboh. Link Kuriboh was really formidable with this format here. A lot of level 1 fire monsters just use this, abuse this to their advantage, and then, you know, just face up Appaloosa in the field with a copy of Link Kuriboh is just annoying. But yeah, that's basically one of the strengths for Link Kuriboh, and you can just special summon this from the graveyard by its own effect. Altergeist also uses this, so that's really crazy, and I think in the near future we'll have also the Fire Kings with a level 1 fire monster that would use this greatly. So yeah, this would be in consideration in the next ban list if ever that would be the case, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be like on May or something. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that this will be targeted in the near future. I think maybe after Fire Kings is gonna be like released, possibly. Anyways, our last card we have here, Skill Drain. Now, Skill Drain, like any other floodgate, we just have to remove it. It's basically an annoying card. Although, like I said earlier, with regards to the anti-spell fragrance, stand deck players are still gonna look into some of the floodgating cards they might use for a deck. Regardless, I think 1 skill drain down won't even matter. But yeah, this would be kind of refreshing if they would remove this one from the game. Needless to say, that is basically our prediction ban list here. And some of the ban lists that one of my subscribers actually mentioned is from Huno. He said Bonfire to 1, Devastator to 1, Sinful Spoils to 2, and Poplar to 2. Poplar is already on 2. Sinful Spoils, I think you're talking to the Wanted, or is it the original Sinful Spoils? But yeah, I think people are just running with 1 copy of original. But Devastator and Bonfire might be a really good choice as well on 1 copy each. But yeah, who knows? Hopefully that will be the case in the near future. But anyways, that is it for today, guys. Keep safe, good luck. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video, and goodbye.